Welcome to the Tonya Hoffman's fabulous TV show. I am your host, Tonya Hoffman, and as always, I have an amazing guest star. Oh my gosh. All right, so y'all have to put your seatbelts on for this one. So Miss Cindy Ashton is here. Hey, Cindy.
Hey, Tonya. Hello, my friends. So great to be here.
So what happens when you get two personalities like us together?
In a good way.
Exactly. So I also want to encourage everyone to look at yourself too, and how are you going to change the world from the front of the room this year. So I would love for you to be on my next TV show. And we also have virtual summits. We have 2 video series, one on your story and another one on a tip series. So get involved with the Public Speakers Association so we can help you go out and get your message heard. So go to Public Speakers with an S, Association, all spelled out.com, and find out more today. All right, so let's get back to the amazing Miss Cindy. So Cindy, tell us what fabulousness is going on in your life right now.
Oh my goodness, it's also fun. So what's fabulous is it's a new year and a bunch of our high-paid speakers are getting bookings and getting out to the world. And some people are going, wait a second, her speakers, what does she do? Should I tell them in on the secret?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I'm the CEO of Speaker Stardom Booking Agency and Academy, and we actually specialize in creating customized campaigns and doing outreach to get our speakers booked. We actually do all the work. So all you have to do is show up and be your brilliance. It's so much fun.
Right. So I know, okay, so we could probably go back and forth on this one, but what is like the one really big thing that you like when you see somebody, you're like, no.
In terms of their performance or in terms of how they're positioning themselves for paid bookings?
Name it.
Okay. So we're going to talk a few things. The first is that they come up with a message that's too generic. And we are filled with so many amazing speakers who are like, but I've overcome this and I have this great inspirational message and it's beautiful and I bow to you and that's wonderful. But when people come to our agencies, they're like, but you're selling inspiration. And I'm like, a corporation is not going to buy inspiration. And even if you don't want the paid speaking, if you go to sell from the stage, a lot of people are being told, well, tell your inspirational story and then sell. But if you get people inspired, but they don't see how it relates to their specific deep issues that they have and how it can change their life, they're going to walk away and say, oh, that person was so fantastic, and they're not going to buy. So I would say that's probably one of the biggest challenges that I'm seeing, is that there's a lot of beautiful speakers who are just too generic in their pitching and their message and too generic in how they're doing their outreach in terms of either getting clients or getting paid speaking.
Exactly. I know. And, one of the things that I see a lot with speakers is they have their signature talk and they refuse to adjust it for where they're wanting to try to get booked, right?
Ooh. Yeah. So can we talk about that? Yeah. Let's talk about that. So here's the thing is that, especially for those, since the topic is paid bookings today, if you want to get paid bookings, now I've been in the industry, I keep saying 20 years, but I realize it's now 21 years. I'm getting more wrinkles. And here's the thing is that when I do my follow-up calls with meeting planners, one of the biggest things I hear from them is I say, how was your event? How was my performance? What was my ratings? And almost 90% of the time I got the highest ratings. And I'd say, well, that's interesting. Why? And then they would spill their frustrations to me. And they would say, well, first of all, the speaker didn't customize the talk to the needs of the audience. So the audience walked away and they were inspired, but they had no actionables, or they delivered a talk that didn't make sense to where the audience was at, or they only spoke to a certain type of person in the audience, a certain success level in the audience, as opposed to addressing the different needs of everybody in the audience. And we found that none of them actually took time to do a deep dive, and none of them, except for you, are actually doing follow-up. And we feel like they just took our money and they don't care. So it's a really big problem.
I know, there's so many little things that if people just adjust, it makes such a huge impact. Yeah. I remember this lovely lady. I mean, she's amazing. Her information, amazing, right? It's just, wow. And she called me and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm getting booked. They're going to call me and they're going to, we're going to talk about, the actual fee and everything. And I'm like, oh, that's so great. She called me back 3 hours later and she goes, I missed the phone call, which, hello. And then she goes, and then they're refusing to book me now. I don't know what happened. I simply called her back, got her voicemail, and this was her voicemail. Hello, please leave a message. I will get back with you as
She's a
soon
speaker?
I know, right? And I'm like,
oh dear.
You don't want a boring person on stage, and people don't even realize that little things like that tell people a lot of information.
Yeah, it really does. And, I think where you start to go around, they've got great information, but is it relevant to that group? So let me kind of give an example to help people understand. When we pitch our speakers, we give them a positioning strategist to actually position them, because we vet our speakers, obviously, before we take them on, and they have a corporate platform, but we like to be very specific. So the way that we pitch is the way that you should be thinking about the content for your audience. So, for example, we're just going to take me, because I know myself really well, have known myself for a really long time. And I clearly do presentation skills training. That is my genius. That's my thing. And now, if most people in my industry would go and do a talk and they'd always be like, this is how you be confident, this is how you do this, this is how you do this, this is how you do this, and without really thinking about the audience. Now, so let's say that we were pitching me for financial services. Most people's pitch would be, I'll help you overcome your presenting anxiety and help you to be confident. And my pitch is going to be 14% of your industry are women, and the reason why it's so low is because they hate the male style of selling. Bring Cindy Ashton in to teach your women how to be personable and use storytelling as a way to authentically engage prospects and close them. So first of all, the first piece is, who is going to win the pitch? Let's be confident, like everybody else, that generic thing, or, ooh, this is what the problem is, and this is how I'm going to help you solve it.
Yes.
But now let's talk about content. If I know that I just got booked for financial services, and I know that's the specific problems that these women are having in the audience, then I'm able to actually address it and do some kind of a funny story opening where it's like 100 calls a day, 100 calls a day. I love to be a man and do 100 calls a day, and sit there and all the women are cracking up because they totally know that they're so not going to do that. But I'm actually able to meet them where their frustrations are in the first minute or two. And then they're like, she is totally getting us. And then I can customize to their concerns about not being authentic and having to be on the phone for 100 calls a day, right?
Right.
So, but if I was pitching to lawyers and speaking to lawyers, the pitch wouldn't be that. The pitch would be, you've got great lawyers on staff, but they've never been taught how to sell. And for them to rise up to partner and increase your bottom line, you need to be able to help your lawyers to be personable and use storytelling. So it's a very similar pitch at the end, but it's a different problem. So again, I would go in and I would speak to lawyers, and how I address them is totally different, because lawyers just want to sit and do all the writing stuff. Like, they're like total detail people. They don't want to have to be personable, whereas financial services women love being personable. So how I help them to tap into that personable side of them and their storytelling skills is going to be very different than someone who's a lawyer who's terrified to even go to a networking meeting. So again, same topic, but completely different positioning for the pitching and getting high paid bookings, and completely different ways that I'm going to deliver that content according to their needs.
Exactly. And one of the challenges, because I get people who, they're like, I'm looking for a leadership, speaker. Now, most people are like, I'm a leadership speaker.
Right. And I'm sure that they have aspects of that, but what does that really mean?
Exactly. I have, even for myself, right? People contact me and they're like, oh, I want to speak at your conference this year. Oh, I can help your people. With what? They don't even go into explaining, really how they can help and go beyond just the audience. Because how can you help me as an event person putting
right?
How are you going to help me promote it and market it? A lot of, events that's important to them. And so, show people that you're not just one-sided, that you aren't, you've got multiple sides to your die, right?
Right. And this brings up the other point is when when you're pitching to a meeting planner, you're pitching to their needs more than you are to the audience needs. Actually, you're pitching to the problems that the meeting planner is having than you are, not the meeting planner, but what the company is having that they need their people to do. And then you sell it to the people a little bit differently. So there's even two ways to be able to pitch as well. So it's just, you got to think about what is important to this meeting planner. What problems are they having that you could be solving for them?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And think outside of the box, because when I usually will pick up the phone and have a conversation with a person or send them an email and say, hey, these are some ideas I think would be really great for before your conference, after your conference. It doesn't have to be just at the conference that you're connecting with the people.
Yeah. You're so brilliant. That's why I like you.
Yay!
Yay! You know what's really hilarious? We're like shiny, happy people with like major brain power. It's hysterical. I had a client once write me a testimonial, and she was like, well, Cindy seems like she's all fun and games, but when you get her working, stand back. All part of the fun, all part of the play.
Exactly. So tell us, I know you have something amazing to gift our incredible listeners today.
I do. So for those of you who do want to get more of that industry and corporate paid speaking, I have a PDF for you that will go through all the steps of what you need to do. And if you are interested in possibly having us represent you, in that PDF, there's going to be links to us, as well as you're going to get ongoing videos to educate you more about the process of getting booked and all that jazz.
Yay. So how do they get that?
That's a good question, because you have the link.
So we have an actual special link on the Public Speakers Association. So if you go to Public Speakers with an S Association, all spelled out, .com/, and then what were we going to make that special?
We're going to make it / speaker stardom.
Speaker stardom. Love it. So definitely jump on that. So speaker-stardom will be the little side section of the Public Speakers Association. So jump on that opportunity and grab that, obviously. And please get connected to Cindy. And you'll obviously want to book her for your upcoming events and, everything that you want to do. But, reach out and say hello to her. How fabulous is she?
I love to play.
Exactly. All right. Thank you, Cindy. And make sure you come on my show again, because you're so much fun.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, and much love and blessings to everybody.
Yay. All right, everyone. So make sure you jump on that opportunity right now. And then please come back and join us again for our next amazingly fabulous guest stars that we have. Bye, everybody. Bye, Cindy.
Bye, everyone.